Now I get to be a little more like cheeky. This isn't exactly spotting, but it is one of the most important things for you to learn. If you are doing something that involves an inversion and you fall, the best way and safest way for you to do that is to half turn out and try and land on your feet. If you're not doing this, every time you fall over the top when you're upside down, start. Don't get into the habit of using the base as feet to catch you when you fall out of an inversion. And don't encourage your spotters to help you do this. Muscle memory is this very, very powerful thing, and your body learns, retains, and repeats the movements you do. If you are constantly letting your base catch you on their feet, when you're up here, and there's a million other things going on and your focus is all over the place, what do you think your body is going to default to? Pattern you've done over and over and over, or the half turn that you never practice? There's a video on the Instagram that will teach you how to half turn out of your handstand in 30 seconds. Go and watch it immediately, as it will most likely save your life. No hyperbole, swear to God, save your life. Car accidents, lightning, acts of God, dog attacks, rabies from the dog attacks, half turning out is the solution to all of these things. So if you go to the doctor and you're like, oh man, I got rabies, and he's like, well, there's no cure, don't listen to that guy because he's a hack. You just got to half turn out. It's so important. This is going to be brief. Nothing is unspottable. Look at this. He is not stood there to get the best view. If ever anyone tells you something is unspottable, just walk away because they are unworkable with. Let's very quickly talk cage spotting and zombie spotting. I don't recommend either of these techniques because they both suffer from the same problem. They give your body and mind an expectation of what's going to happen next. With cage spotting, the expectation is that they're going to fall one way or the other. With zombie spotting, it's that they're going to fall directly into your outstretched arms. Spotting is and should be a reactive game. It's basically human catching. You don't catch a ball like this. So why catch a person like this? You should be reacting constantly to the movements of the base and the flyer and be making adjustments to put yourself in the best place to help. One of the arguments I've heard for cage and zombie spotting is, well, if we didn't already put people there, there'll be more accidents because people are too slow to react. If your reactions are that slow, you shouldn't be spotting anyway. We need to stop diluting what spotting is. Spotting is a crucial role in keeping people safe, and it requires specific traits in order to perform that role. If you can't fill that, don't invent ways to do so. Both cage spotting and zombie spotting put you at arm's length to a heavy object. If I suddenly need to grab something, it's going to be easier for me to grab it here than here. If we're cage spotting, the implication is that the flyer's hips are close enough for me to be in contact with. So let's move to a position where I'm able to ideally block a potential fall and be able to make contact with the hips. The best way to spot standing hand to hand is to stand on something high enough that you're able to control the flyer's hips. If that's not possible, the second best is holding as high up the arm as possible and as high up the back as possible. Okay, this one's going to be controversial. Spotting Acarian-style tricks by holding any combination of the wrist, the hand, the forearm, the upper arm, or armpit is an example of bad spotting and one of the best examples of where spotting allows people to do things that they are not ready for. As an example of this, I'm going to fly some Acarian on Sammy. Sammy's legs are the size of twigs and I weigh 200 pounds. Boys.
Was it good at the time?
To further illustrate this point, we're now going to try it without any spots. Okay. I spoke to the Acarian coach from Cirque du Soleil's Varicai and asked him his opinion on arm spotting. His response? No, just spot the hips. By having two people holding the flyer's arms, you're essentially taking the flyer's entire upper body out of the equation. Unless both spotters are doing exactly the same thing, There's no way that this can ever be a useful progressive training tool. It's definitely a tool to help someone feel a sensation of doing a move, but the mechanics of this spot do not translate well to progressive learning. There is not a reliable way to simultaneously lower the amount of help both spotters are doing. I'm not suggesting removing this from your practice or vocabulary completely. This spot has its place in a fun environment where we want to do something and have the experience of what it feels like, but let's not kid ourselves about its usefulness as a progressive training tool.